Welcome back to Rated Radio. I'm Shane Wyndham.
And I'm Ray Zander.
This is 1984 versus the Tortured Poets Department.
I hope you're ready for a fight.
Roll the intro. So just ahead of time, know that we did actually pick these albums. I picked one. Ray picked the other.
Can you guess who picked what? Because I bet you can't.
I'm the Swiftie.
If you're new here, I bet you can't guess. And I'm the Halen fan?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know what they're called.
You were raised on it. I picked this because I hadn't heard it yet, and it was driving me insane. I purposely held off listening to it so that we could review it for the show.
Wow.
First up, we're going to talk about Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets Department, the anthology from 2024.
That's the 31-track album for those of you at home.
Yeah, the one that came out 2 hours after the first disc got released.
Yes.
So the same day, figured we'd just cover the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the 31 tracks, I thought 26 of them were great. That means I gave them 7 or higher.
Yikes. Whoa. Dude, you're doing the most. I'm just over here at a measly 22 out of 31.
Only 22? That's high?
You like how I put that in there real slick like.
High praise.
Thanks.
So top and bottom track, I gave 1 for each disc. So
Yeah.
just be prepared for that.
We are unprepared, but thank you for easing it in.
You are very welcome. So bottom, and I'm not sure I agree with myself either here. That's the problem.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
My bottom track from the first disc was Fresh Out the Slammer.
My bottom track was Lomel. Loml.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that. I like it. No spoilers.
Okay.
Make up your own mind. My bottom track from the second disc was I Look in People's Windows. And my top track from the first disc, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?
Shane, I have to ask. Who's afraid of little old me?
Oh, you too, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
It's fitting. Come on.
I dig it, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Top track from the second disc for me was I Hate It Here.
Okay. Well, tell us how you really feel.
How does the music make you feel?
Like I'm standing in a room full of people screaming and no one hears me.
And I wrote, like I'm crying in the rain.
Hey, let's hug it out. We need to hug it out.
I'm not that into my feels right now, okay?
Hey, we're always in tune with our feels. That's what makes us very special. Anyway.
Tell us what you thought about the album.
Swift's public wrist-cutting display of such raw, unfiltered female emotion is powerful, true, and the most important thing, unapologetic. She speaks her beautifully messy truth here. Her vocals carry you along the length of the album like an icy breeze on a sunny winter morning. I think I can officially say after this one, I'm finally in my Taylor era. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, my aunt had the same reaction. She's the one who my Aunt Jennifer is the one who kept telling me to listen to it. And she's like, I think I might actually be a Taylor Swift fan now. I can't stop.
Coming off a Hozier.
Yeah.
Coming off of that Hozier into that. Coming off that Hozier, man. I'll say it again. I don't give a fuck. Going from music like that to this of Taylor Swift, it was such a refreshing transition.
I apologize for my co-host. I don't know what the hell just happened.
Why are you laughing? Because
I don't know. You're over there just like stuck on it. Coming off a Hozier. Coming off a Hozier.
Coming off a Hozier. Like it was a good transition to her music because she's obviously got the female representation that I may not be able to connect with Hozier. So there's just something there for me that I don't get with him. I get plenty with him, but it's got that same emotion that I was just talking about it on my lives. Can we like normalize longing again? Can we normalize yearning? Because I feel like we have so many options at our fingertips. We have so many different things. No one knows how to long and yearn properly anymore for things that they really want.
Shit.
And I know, but you've always been that way.
God, man.
But people like Taylor Swift, people like Hozier, and they're out here making music. You can hear it in their music. And I heard it here. So tell me what you think about it, Shane.
Might want to take a nap at this point. It's not that. While most pop albums suffer from an absence of lyrical originality, this one swings so far above its weight class that it's almost unbelievable. Swift has had plenty of brilliant moments in her prose over the course of her career, but this is something notably different, since those brilliant moments are the entire damn spin. Where the album falters mildly by showing it belongs to the pop genre is in the lacking melodic complexity. She provides a redeemable degree of that by way of her vocals, but I did find myself wishing the music was a stronger factor in what makes this so memorable. This is all to say that if you liked, say, the music itself from her Lover effort, you're not going to find quite as much of that here.
I did, but it's like different versions of myself.
Yeah.
Which is what Taylor is.
Exactly. And I'm not talking about the lyrics or her delivery of anything. I'm talking about the backing instrumentals.
Oh, yeah. It was Lover was a much more fluffier, poppier, upbeat album. This seems a little bit more raw, a little bit more emotional.
Yeah. The majority of the music feels like it links the space between her Lover and Folklore albums. Very muted but nicely executed 80s synth mixed with a mess of intimate grand piano. The cadence of certain songs hits like a rehash of previously covered ground. Think heart rebreakers like All Too Well or simpler sways like The Archer. But the lyrics, and I cannot say this strongly enough, make even those more drab moments worth hearing. I find it way too easy to say this may be the best thing she's ever done every time I hear a new Swift album, and I think that's owed to how emotional her music makes me, but I can confidently say this is her lyrical masterwork. The album name proving completely appropriate. I'd love to tell you that a 31-track double disc wears out its welcome, but I can't. The fact is, I still worry I'm undervaluing just how obsession-worthy the thing is, even having now heard it start to finish multiple times, and since writing this, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty more. Abrasively put, there's a metric shit ton of depth to digest here, whether it's a song dedicated to her most haunting lyric of Peter losing Wendy, or the effortless name drops of obscure historical figures. There are vast amounts of slow burns happening under the catchy currents. What I can safely say is that this monster effort would have garnered a perfect score under our old rating system and deserves heard by everyone who appreciates the careful and clever choosing of words. What it lacks in instrumental depth, it more than makes up for with its ability to rip out and simultaneously restore a scarred sense of self. Think a double disc greatest hits album where all the material is new and deeper than most anything that's come before. An essential listen from a songsmith who's every bit what I've said before and won't say again. May the music say it for me. This is the pop equivalent of Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness album, and one of the greatest works of art the genre has ever produced. Easily my pick for 2024's album of the year.
Okay, well, I can't follow that up, so I think I need a break. Do you?
Yeah, can I add one thing?
Sure, why not?
The only warning I would give anyone listening to this is the album did actually make me depressed.
Okay. Just so we know.
There's a song by Morgan Wallen that's popular that he hasn't released. It's just like this live version. And you'll see TikToks of people being like, I'm over here having arguments and I ain't even in a relationship, you know? Like this just makes me...
Oh, if Taylor Swift's making you feel feels that you've either never felt before or am not familiar and
some of it I have no reason to be feeling like this.
I picture you with your beaded bracelets on in the corner crying.
It ain't like that.
I'm sorry. I may buy my dog one of those beaded bracelet dog collars now with her name on it. It's so cute. Anyway.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Wait. I want to add one more thing too. Until you put it in perspective of the perfect rating. Yeah, this would have gotten a perfect rating for me.
It would have.
But our rating scale has changed.
This is the real deal. So let's take a break and go see. I think we got to talk about a Billboard hit and then we can talk about Van Halen.
Yeah, let's talk about our Billboard hit. See you in a bit.
So what Billboard hit did we listen to this time?
Do I have to say it?
Yeah.
Fast Car by Luke Combs.
All right. I'm sensing a trend. We're recording some of these episodes back to back. We talked about Blue by Eiffel 65's rehash.
Yeah. There's more of that here.
Yeah, let's hear what you thought.
See original review of this song in a past episode somewhere. No changes whatsoever. If anything, I remain more annoyed with the longevity that this song has had. Isn't it just her luck that a lazy man would continuously profit off of her hard work? Way to go, Tracy Chapman.
I'm confused. Are you mad at Luke Combs?
I'm mad at Luke Combs.
Are you mad at Tracy Chapman?
I'm mad at Luke Combs.
Do you like the original?
Yes.
Okay.
I like the original. It's so much like the original. He's just redoing it and getting paid way more money. And I feel bad for Tracy Chapman when her version is better. Okay. Fight me in the comments. No,
you don't think she's making money off of this cover? She's
getting none of the recognition, though. And maybe she wants some.
I mean, that's what shows like ours are here for, right?
Yeah, that's what. Tracy Chapman. I'll say it again. What'd you think of it, Shane?
Let's talk about Luke Combs here for a second.
Talk about Luke Combs, sure.
What this cover of Tracy Chapman classic reminds me of are those pop or R&B hits in the late 90s, which sometimes had these country versions released in tandem. Those mainstream songs, like there's a Vertical Horizon song, Best I Ever Had, with the Gray Sky Morning. There was a country version. All for One had I Swear. There was a country version of I Swear. I think it was John Michael Montgomery that did the country version. Yeah.
Shane?
This stuff reminds me of that.
Stop.
Only like 30 years apart, whatever. Just as with those, you'll likely have your preferred version, and that will be that. No sense arguing about it, only I'm expected to here, so let's get opinionated. What I think this track has going for it is being a vehicle for turning some people onto Luke Combs' voice, which is admittedly quite nice and unexpectedly soulful if you're unexperienced, and the production of the effort is quite high if the measure is something akin to, hey, this is still going to sound good coming out of speakers 50 years from now. Otherwise, I think it's plastic compared to the original and offers nothing you couldn't already get from said version. Unless you just want a guy singing the song instead of a girl. I really loathe the way some of the drum work here sounds like a relentless fucking metronome someone forgot to cut out of the finalized song. And I am going to remain as on Team Chapman as you can possibly imagine without being an outright hater. I was at least heartened to find that her version still pops up first in search, popular though this one now seems to be. So there is at least that. And I bet this cover will turn a lot of folks on to the superior original. That all being said, 7 out of 10 stars for me. I'm sorry, Fast Car is a fucking amazing song.
Chapman,
not as GS.
Chapman. I gave Luke Combs' version a 3 out of 10. Tracy would get more. I agree with everything that you said.
Tracy would get more.
Yes, I agree with everything you said, but let's move on because I could fight all day.
Let's go talk about 1984, the year I was born.
Oh, let's hope it's better than that.
You got something against me being born?
No, I'm fucking with you.
I'm glad of it she's born.
Okay. All right, first Sling Blade reference on the podcast. All right, are you ready to go back to the music?
Yep.
Let's get it.
Next, we're going to talk about Van Halen's 1984 album from the year 1984, which props, by the way. I get so sick of seeing movies and books and shit released for years that we are not currently in. 1984 came out in 1984. I'm appreciative of that. There were 9 tracks here, and I actually thought 8 of them were great. So they got 7 or higher for me.
Wow. 4 out of the 9 got 7 or higher for me.
Bottom track, 1984.
My bottom track was Girl Gone Bad.
And my top track, I feel like I don't even know how to put it. It just seems so wrong because it's the one that I've always associated with this group, and I feel like this giant cheese ball saying it.
Jump.
It's Jump.
No.
It is Jump.
Well, something a little less mainstream. I picked Drop Dead Legs, Pretty Smile.
Drop Dead Legs.
Drop Dead Legs.
Tell us, well, no. The music makes me feel like I'm watching a relief pitcher almost lose the World Series for an all-star team.
And the music makes me feel like I'm at a car show on a hot afternoon.
What'd you think about the album?
Well, as Van Halen's last hurrah with, in this host's opinion, its best lineup, David does what he does best by bringing a sex served up ice cold with Eddie Van Halen's liquid hot backing guitar. This is classic rock at its finest, a must-have for any rockin' collection. 7 out of 10.
Take all the intensity and energy of groups like Rush, Kiss, Led Zeppelin, Dire Straits, Def Leppard, and Motley Crue, then gently blend it, toss in some middling Springsteen trying to be Ozzy vocals with mindless lyrics on top, and you've got 1984. It's a very guitar-forward disc with the exception of 2 tracks, but the other elements stay interesting here as well. Hit or miss, though that compliment finds itself. Production is barely crossing the timeless finish line due to some low-ish quality live tracking and some occasionally rough note timing. The guitar solos can color a bit too outside the lines at times, almost like Eddie struggling to contain his desire to fly around the fretboard. And a small bit of the beat keeping can be bland. Overall, though, I can dig this in a big way. It did, after all, get beastly marks for an album I'm mostly put off by where the voice is concerned. The group tends to ignore certain norms of song structure, shortening many verse and chorus sections in favor of quickly getting to their prog-like bridges, which do mostly land. This gives the spin a punk feel, wherein very little lasts overly long or is able to get too repetitious. It's unique and musically sound, but deserved much better than the vocals and lyrics it got in most places. And I'd love to hear someone reimagine those parts over the existing instrumental foundation someday, because this should be a top tier album. I'd still recommend the fuck out of it to those who like killer melody work, though, to be clear.
Did we establish if it was like you preferred Hagar versus Roth? You're a Roth guy? No preference?
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
I've never paid attention to the fact that this group has different vocalists at different times.
You can't tell?
I haven't thought about it. Like, the only time I've listened to their albums is sitting down to rate it for the show, and it just never even crossed my mind.
To me, Hagar is the cleaner version of Roth, but there's a level of charm to me behind Roth's vocals because they're a little bit messy. It seems a little bit more unhinged. And I mean, there is a level of nostalgia, but my dad listened to a lot of Hagar growing up too. So I think that if Roth would have gone to rehab a little sooner, got a little bit more cleaned up, he's what Hagar could have been. But there's just something about the mess of David Lee Roth's vocal stylings in the early albums. And is that
the vocalist here?
Yes, this is the last album with David Lee Roth. The next album they switched to Sammy Hagar.
Okay. I just want to point out that this episode was really the episode of polar opposites.
Yeah.
Because what you have with Tortured Poets Department is something that's so vocally driven, so lyrically driven, that it's a masterpiece. Yeah. And what you have with 1984...
Her dad. Sorry.
Her dad? No,
you have 1984
is the exact opposite thing. Yeah. It's musically a masterpiece. It's just lyrics and vocals I could have changed in most places and been happy with it.
Yeah. So. I feel like the reason why I said her dad is because another way that the music makes me feel for both albums and both artists is like I'm sitting down with my dad.
Okay.
Except I'm Taylor and we both know who my dad is. Yeah. So this is it's two individuals that like two very different types of music that can both sit on a couch and have a conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense? So this is fun. This is a fun episode.
Who won for you?
Well, needless to say, Taylor made me feel things, so I'm going to give it to her this week.
Yeah, please like or subscribe if you're still listening. And remember, you can send us all kinds of feedback to rated_radio@yahoo.com. And I am going to agree with my co-host that Taylor Swift took this one. Van Halen did amazingly.
Yes, they did.
Don't get me wrong. If you've never heard 1984 and you like music, not the vocals necessarily or the lyrics, but just the music, and you like rock, definitely listen to 1984.
Yeah, it's got to be in your collection for sure.
Anyway, that's going to do it for now.
Till next time, fill your world with music.